The most toxic lie we've sold to our generation is that being alone is a problem that needs to be solved. We've created a society where being single is seen as a disease that needs to be cured, a failure that needs to be fixed, a story that needs to be rewritten. But here's what nobody's telling you. Every time you enter a relationship just to fix your loneliness, you're not finding love. You're spreading dysfunction. You're not building a future. You're contaminating someone else's present. Look at your social media feed. Count how many posts are about finding love, keeping love, recovering from love. And now count how many are about finding purpose, keeping purpose, recovering your purpose. The imbalance in those numbers is why we have a generation rich in relationships, but poor in impact, abundant in connections, but bankrupt in contribution. You ever notice how a lion never has to announce its presence in the jungle? The atmosphere changes. The air grows thick with anticipation. Every creature becomes acutely aware of something powerful has arrived. Yet today, I see men desperately announcing themselves on social media, seeking validation through likes and follows, trying to prove their worth through filtered photos and carefully crafted captions. We've become so focused on finding someone to complete us that we've forgotten the fundamental truth. You cannot give what you do not have. My brothers and sisters, let me ask you something that make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you sat alone in complete silence with no phone, no music, no distractions? Many of you are shifting in your seats right now because the very idea of being alone terrifies you. But why? Why have we created a society where being alone is seen as a failure? Where not having a romantic partner somehow diminishes your worth as a human being. You see, every day I counsel young men who are drowning in desperation. They come to me with their heads hung low, their spirits crushed, all because they believe their value is determined by whether or not they have a girlfriend. For spending their prime years chasing relationships instead of purpose, seeking completion in another person instead of finding wholeness within themselves. Let me share something profound with you. The most dangerous person in society is not the one who is alone. It's the one who cannot be alone. A person who cannot sit with themselves, who cannot face their own thoughts, who needs constant external validation. That's the person who makes desperate decisions, who accepts toxic relationships. You are not born with a girlfriend or boyfriend attached to your hip. You came into this world as a complete being carrying within you seeds of greatness that have nothing to do with your relationship status. So somewhere along the way, society convinced you that you need someone else to water those seeds. That's a lie that has destroyed more potential than any external obstacle ever could. Look at nature. Before a fruit tree bears fruit, it goes through seasons of solitude. It develops deep roots, strengthens its trunk, grows its branches. It doesn't start with fruit. Yet here we are, trying to bear the fruit of relationship before we've developed our roots of identity. Some of you are nodding because you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been that person who jumps from relationship to relationship, never taking time to develop yourself. You've been that individual who defines their worth by their relationship status on social media. You've been that soul who fears Friday nights alone more than you fear. But let me tell you something that might revolutionize your thinking. Your season of solitude is not a punishment. It's preparation. Every great leader, every person of impact, every individual who changed the world went through periods of intense solitude. It's in solitude that you discover your voice. It's in solitude that you develop your convictions. It's in solitude that you build the strength to stand for something when everyone else is falling for anything. I'm looking at someone right now who's been fighting this season of solitude. You've been trying to fill every moment with noise, every space with people, every silence with distraction. You've been running from yourself, and in doing so, you've been running from your purpose. The problem with our generation is that we've confused love with need. We think love is finding someone to complete us, when true love is overflow. It's giving from your fullness, not your emptiness. How can you truly love someone else when you haven't learned to love yourself? How can you share life when you haven't built one of your own? You see, a man who lives alone without a girlfriend isn't incomplete. He's in preparation. He's not missing out. He's building up. Every moment of solitude is an opportunity for growth. Every instance of loneliness is a chance for development. But most of us waste these precious seasons because we've bought into the lie that we're somehow less valuable when we're not in a relationship. Would you want someone to love you because they need you or because they chose you? Would you want someone to be with you because they can't be alone or because they've learned to be complete on their own and still choose to share their life with you? The strength of a relationship isn't determined by how much you need each other, but by how much you've grown individually before coming together. Two half people don't make a whole relationship. They make a dependent relationship. So whole people coming together. That's where real love begins. Some of you have been praying for a relationship, but God has been trying to give you something greater. An opportunity to discover who you are. You've been asking for companionship, but what you need is character development. You've been seeking someone to walk with you. But first, you need to learn to stand on your own. I see young people today who can't eat alone in a restaurant, who can't watch a movie by themselves, who can't spend the weekend without someone else's presence. They call it love, but it's dependency. They call it relationship goals, but it's really fear. Fear of facing themselves, fear of being alone, fear of discovering who they really are without someone else's validation. You can't be happy alone. You won't be happy in a relationship. If you can't find purpose alone, you won't find it in a relationship. If you can't face yourself alone, you only hide behind your relationship. Please think about the people you admire most in history. The ones who changed the world, who left a legacy, who made a difference. Every single one of them had seasons of solitude, periods of preparation, times when they were alone but not lonely because they were too busy developing their purpose to worry about their relationship status. Your season of being alone is not a mistake. It's a masterclass in self-development. It's not a waiting room for love. It's a workshop for purpose. It's not a punishment for being single. It's a privilege to discover your calling. Some of you need to delete those dating apps right now. Not because there's anything wrong with wanting a relationship, but because you're trying to skip the season of preparation. You're trying to find someone to complete you instead of becoming complete. You're searching for someone to give you purpose instead of discovering. I'm talking to someone who's been feeling less than because their relationship status says single. You've been comparing yourself to couples on social media, wondering what's wrong with you. Questioning your worth because you're alone. But what if being alone right now is the greatest gift you could receive? What if this season of solitude is actually the foundation for everything great that's meant to come in your life? The real tragedy in our society isn't being alone. It's being surrounded by people who are living without purpose. Every day I watch talented individuals waste their potential because they've made finding a relationship their primary goal. They've reduced their entire existence to the pursuit of partnership, forgetting that relationship is meant to be the overflow of purpose, not the source of it. Let me tell you something that might shake you. Your need for a relationship might be the very thing blocking you from having a meaningful one. When need drives your pursuit of love, you don't attract a partner. You don't find love. You find dependency. You don't build a relationship. Look at your phone right now. How many hours have you spent scrolling through other people's relationships, wishing you had what they have? How many hours have you wasted trying to present yourself as relationship material instead of developing yourself into a person of substance? The time you're spending hoping to be chosen could be the time you spend becoming worth choosing. You see, being alone gives you something precious that most people never get: the opportunity to hear your own voice. In the silence of solitude, without the noise of others' expectations, without the pressure to be what someone else needs, you can finally hear what your spirit has been trying to tell you all along. But we run from that voice, don't they? We drown it out with endless entertainment. We silence it with superficial relationships. We ignore it with constant busyness. Because that voice might tell us something we're not ready to hear. That we've been chasing the wrong things. That we've been living someone else's dream. That we've been hiding from our true calling. Let me tell you about real strength. Real strength isn't found in having someone to hold your hand through every challenge. Real strength is developed in those moments when you have to face your fears alone. When you have to pick yourself up without anyone's help. When you have to believe in yourself when no one else does. Some of you are fighting this season of solitude because you think it makes you look weak. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing weak about being alone. The weak ones are those who can't face themselves, who need constant companionship to feel worthy, who lose their identity in relationships because they never develop one on their own. You're not alone because something's wrong with you. You're alone because something's right with God's plan for your life. You're in preparation, you're in development, you're in training. But instead of embracing this season, you're fighting it. Instead of using this time to grow, you're wasting it in regret. Every great building starts with an empty space. Every masterpiece begins with a blank canvas. Every powerful story starts with solitude. But you've been so busy trying to fill your empty spaces that you haven't given God room to build something magnificent in your life. I'm speaking to someone who's been feeling the pressure of society's timeline. You think you're behind because you're not in a relationship. Your family keeps asking when you're going to settle down. Your friends keep trying to set you up with someone. But let me ask you something. What if you're not behind at all? What if you're exactly where you need to be for what God has planned for your life? The problem with our generation is that we want a microwave relationship in a crockpot season. We want instant connection without personal development. We want someone to love us before we've learned to love ourselves. We want someone to support our dreams before we've even figured out what those dreams are. Your single season is not a waiting season. It's a working season. It's not about waiting for the right person to come along. It's about becoming the right person. It's not about finding someone to walk with you. It's about finding a path worth walking. Look at your hands for a moment. These hands were given to you to build something significant, to create something meaningful, to leave a mark on this world. But instead of using them to build your purpose, you've been using them to swipe through dating apps, hoping to find someone to give your life meaning. Some of you need to hear this. Your relationship status is not your life status. Your worth is not determined by who wants to be with you. Your purpose is not found in partnership. Your calling is not contingent on companionship. Most dangerous relationships are formed when two people come together to escape themselves. When you enter a relationship running from loneliness, you're not looking for love. You're looking for refuge. You're not seeking partnership. You're seeking escape. You're not building a future. You're hiding from your present. Instead of asking, why am I alone? Start asking, what can I achieve in this season of solitude? Instead of wondering, when will I find someone? Start questioning, what am I meant to find within myself? Instead of focusing on who's not in your life, start focusing on what you're meant to bring to life. Your season of solitude is your season of strength. It's your time to develop convictions that can't be shaken by criticism. It's your opportunity to build a foundation that can be destroyed by rejection. It's your chance to discover a purpose that can't be derailed by loneliness. Some of you have been praying for God to send you someone. But God has been trying to send you somewhere. Somewhere in your purpose, somewhere in your calling, somewhere in your destiny. But you've been so focused on finding a partner that you've missed the part. Think of this. Every relationship you enter carries the weight of your unresolved issues, your undeveloped character, your undefined purpose. When you rush into a relationship before dealing with these things, you're not just compromising your own growth. You're potentially hindering someone else's. The quality of your future relationship will be determined by the quality of your present solitude. How you handle being alone will determine how you handle being together. What you do with your single season will determine what you can offer in your relationship season. Stop apologizing for being alone. Stop explaining why you're single. Stop feeling less than because you're not in a relationship. You're not missing out. You're building up. You're not falling behind. You're preparing to go further than most people ever will. There's something powerful that happens when a person learns to master their solitude. They develop an inner strength that no external circumstance can shake. They build a peace that no relationship status can disturb. They discover confidence that no rejection can destroy. But most people never experience this because they're too busy running from their alone time. You see, in our rush to find connection, we've forgotten something crucial. The depth of your relationship with others will never exceed the depth of your relationship with yourself. When you don't know who you are, you'd accept anyone who gives you an identity. When you don't know your worth, you'll accept anyone who gives you attention. When you don't know your purpose, you'll follow anyone who gives you direction. Let me speak to that young man who's been measuring his masculinity by his ability to attract a partner. Society has sold you a lie. Your manhood isn't determined by who's attracted to you. It's determined by what you're attracted to. Are you attracted to purpose? Are you attracted to growth? Are you attracted to impact? Or are you just attracted to the idea of having someone to show off on social media? Some of you have turned your desire for a relationship into an idol. You've made finding a partner your primary purpose. But here's the truth, a relationship was never meant to be your purpose. A relationship is meant to be a platform for two people to fulfill their purpose together. But how can you build a platform when you haven't even laid a foundation? The most attractive quality in a person isn't their physical appearance or their social status. It's their sense of purpose. When you know where you're going, you naturally attract people who are meant to go in the same direction. But when you're standing still, waiting for someone to give you direction, look at nature again. A flower doesn't bloom because another flower tells it to. It blooms because that's what it was created to do. It doesn't need permission to fulfill its purpose. It doesn't need validation to express its beauty. It doesn't need companionship to reach its potential. Yet here we are, waiting for someone else's presence to give us permission to bloom. Some of you are sitting there thinking, but I'm tired of being alone. Let me challenge that thought. Are you really tired of being alone? Or are you tired of not knowing what to do with your solitude? Are you tired of not having a partner? Or are you tired of not having a purpose? Are you tired of being single, or are you tired of not knowing who you are when no one else is around? The quality of your life isn't determined by who's in it. It's determined by what you're doing with it. But we've created a culture where being in a relationship is seen as an achievement, where personal development is seen as a consolation prize. We celebrate engagements more than we celebrate personal growth. We post about relationships more than we post about achievements. We invest more in finding a partner than we invest in finding our purpose. You need someone else to complete your story. You need to become a complete story on your own. A relationship should be two complete stories coming together to write a bigger story, not two incomplete stories trying to fill each other's gaps. Your season of solitude is your opportunity to write your own story. It's your chance to develop your own character. It's your time to establish your own plot. But instead of writing, you've been reading everyone else's story, wondering why yours doesn't look like theirs. Some of you need to hear this. Stop trying to be relationship material and start trying to be legacy material. Stop trying to be attractive and start trying to be impactful. Stop trying to be wanted and start trying to be needed. The world doesn't need more people desperate for relationships. It needs more people dedicated to purpose. The greatest relationships are formed when two people find each other while chasing their purpose, not while chasing relationships, not while running from loneliness, not while trying to fit society's timeline, but while pursuing their God-given calling with everything they have. Think about the relationships you admire most, the ones that have stood the test of time, the ones that have made a difference in the world. They weren't formed because two people were tired of being alone. They were formed because two complete individuals walking in their purpose, recognizing each other a partner for their mission. Your season of solitude is your season of discovery. It's when you learn what you're made of. It's when you find out what you stand for. It's when you discover what you're willing to live for. These are things you need to know before you can truly share your life with someone else. Some of you have been trying to skip this season. You've been trying to outsource your growth to your relationship. You've been trying to find someone to give you what only personal development can provide. But there are no shortcuts to character. There are no bypasses to purpose. There are no alternatives to personal growth. The most dangerous person in the relationship is someone who's never learned to be alone. They come with expectations that no human can fulfill. They come with needs that no partner can satisfy. They come with gaps that no relationship can fill. They don't bring assets to the relationship. They bring liabilities. Let me speak to that person who's been feeling like they're missing out on life because they're single. You're not missing out. You're building up. You're not falling behind. You're laying a foundation. You're not wasting time. You're investing it in becoming someone who can truly add value to another person's life. Your alone time is not empty time. It's equity time. It's when you build the character that will sustain your future relationships. It's when you develop the strength that will support your future partner. It's when you discover the purpose that will give your future relationship direction. Stop looking at your single season as a problem to be solved and start seeing it as an opportunity to be maximized. Stop viewing your solitude as a curse to be broken and start seeing it as a gift to be unwrapped. Stop treating your alone time as a waiting period and start treating it as a training period. There's a profound difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone is a physical state. Being lonely is a spiritual condition. You can be in a crowded room and feel lonely, or you can be by yourself and feel completely whole. So the difference is in your circumstances. It's in your understanding of who you are and why you're here. We've created a society that's afraid of silence. We fill every moment with noise, every space with activity, every silence with distraction. But it's in the silence that wisdom speaks. It's in solitude that purpose reveals itself. It's in aloneness that destiny takes shape. You've been running from the very thing that could transform your life. But he asks you something that might make you uncomfortable. What if your desire for a relationship is actually a misplaced desire for purpose? What if your longing for companionship is really a longing for significance? What if your search for someone to complete you is actually a search for something to fulfill you? You see, when you understand your purpose, being alone doesn't frighten you. It empowers you. When you know your calling, solitude doesn't weaken you. It strengthens you. When you're clear about your destiny, seasons of singleness don't discourage you. Some of you have been praying for a relationship, but God has been trying to give you revelation. You've been asking for companionship, but God has been offering you clarity. You've been seeking a partner, but God has been showing you purpose. You've been missing the miracle in your season of solitude because you've been looking for the wrong thing. The problem with our generation is that we've confused comfort with fulfillment. We think if we're comfortable in a relationship, we must be fulfilling our purpose. If we have someone to share our bed, we must be sharing our destiny. If we have someone to spend our time with, we must be spending our life well. But comfort can be the enemy of purpose. Convenience can be the opponent of destiny. Your season of solitude is your season of preparation for purpose. It's when God can speak to you without competition. It's when He can shape you without interference. But you've been so busy trying to end this season that you've missed its meaning. Look at your life right now. Look at your schedule, your priorities, your focus. How much of your energy is spent trying to find a relationship? How much of your time is invested in developing yourself? How much of your attention is directed toward discovering and fulfilling your purpose? Some of you need to make a dramatic shift today. You need to stop organizing your life around the pursuit of a relationship and start organizing it around the pursuit of purpose. Stop structuring your days around finding someone to share them with and start structuring them around becoming someone worth sharing life with. What nobody wants to hear is this. If you can't be faithful with your season of solitude, if you can't steward your alone time, well, you won't steward a relationship well. If you can't maximize your single season, you won't maximize your relationship season. Let me speak to that person who's been feeling like they're running out of time. Society has put an expiration date on your singleness, and you've bought into that lie. You're rushing through your preparation season because you're afraid of missing out. But what's a greater risk? Taking time to become who you're meant to be, or rushing into a relationship before you're ready. Your time alone is not wasted time. It's investment time. Every moment you spend developing yourself, discovering your purpose, building your character is a deposit into your future. You've been trying to give what you haven't developed. You've been trying to share what you haven't established. Most dangerous relationships are formed between two people who don't know who they are. They try to find themselves in each other, but you can't find yourself in someone else. They try to build a future together, but you can't build a future on uncertain foundations. They try to grow together, but you can't grow together until you've learned to grow alone. Some of you have turned your relationship status into your identity. You've allowed your singleness to define you. But you are not defined by who's with you. You're defined by who's in you. You're not identified by your relationship status. You're identified by your relationship with purpose. What you spend as much time developing your purpose as you spend thinking about relationships. What if you invested as much energy in personal growth as you invest in trying to grow a relationship? What if you focused as much attention on becoming whole as you focus on finding your other half? The quality of your relationships will never exceed the quality of your solitude. How you handle being alone will determine how you handle being together. What you do with your single season will determine what you can offer in your relationship season. But you've been trying to skip the development and jump straight to the deployment. Your season of solitude is your university of purpose. It's where you learn who you are. It's where you discover what you're called to do. It's where you develop what you're meant to give. But instead of studying, you've been trying to graduate early. Instead of learning, you've been trying to leave. Instead of growing, you've been trying to go. Stop asking why you're alone and start asking what you can learn while you're alone. Stop wondering when your season of solitude will end and start wondering what this season is trying to build in you. Stop focusing on who's not in your life and start focusing on what you're meant to bring to life. The world doesn't need more couples. It needs more people walking in purpose. It doesn't need more relationships. It needs more individuals living with intention. It doesn't need more partnerships. It needs more people pursuing their calling. But we've been so busy trying to find the right person that we've forgotten to become the right person. Right now, in this moment, I want you to make a decision. A decision that will transform not just your life, but the lives of everyone you're destined to impact. Choose to embrace your season of solitude, not as a punishment, but as a privilege. Not as a setback, but as a setup for something greater than you've imagined. Your life has never been about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person. It's about developing the character that will sustain your destiny. It's about building the strength that will support your purpose. It's about discovering the wisdom that will guide not just you, but all those connected to your purpose. Stop waiting for someone to complete your life and start completing your assignment. Stop looking for someone to fulfill you and start fulfilling your calling. Stop searching for someone to give your life meaning and start giving meaning to the lives of others through your purpose. The greatest gift you can give your future relationship isn't your neediness. It's your wholeness. It is in your desperation. It's your development. It is in your attachment. When you focus on purpose, you naturally attract purpose. When you pursue growth, you naturally attract growth. When you chase destiny, you naturally attract destiny. Remember this. A man who lives alone without a girlfriend isn't missing something. He's in preparation for something. He's not falling behind. He's building a foundation that will support not just his dream, but the dreams of generations to come. He's not wasting time. He's investing it in becoming someone who can truly make a difference in this world. Your season of solitude is your gift. Your time alone is your opportunity. Your single status is your university. Don't waste it in waiting. Don't spend it in regret. Don't lose it in comparison. Maximize it. Honor it. Because one day you look back and realize that this season wasn't about finding love. It was about finding purpose. It wasn't about getting a relationship. It was about getting ready for destiny. Stand tall in your solitude. Walk confident in your purpose. Live fully in your calling. Because when you do, you won't have to chase relationships. The right relationships will find you. You won't have to prove your worth. You won't have to announce your value. Your value will be clear in your vision. Your world is waiting not for you to find a partner, but for you to walk in purpose. Not for you to get into a relationship, but for you to get into position. Not for you to find someone to complete you, but for you to complete the assignment that only you can fulfill. Your time is now. Your season is here. Your purpose is waiting. The question is, do you embrace it?